Hare Krishna, everyone. Hello. So I'm here with, no, this isn't my wife, and you're probably all starting to think, what is this guy doing? But I'm just having so much fun reading the Bhagavatam with exalted personalities, and wherever I go, they're always likely candidates. So we're here with Bhaktivedanta Prabhu, who is, I guess I can say, a long-standing friend. We've known each other for probably close to almost 20 years, right?
Yeah, at least 20 years,
yeah.
I'd say, yeah.
So a long time. And he is exceptional. He's read the Bhagavatam from 1st canto to 12th canto. He's being humble and saying like 4 times, but we reckon it's probably closer to 5. And I think even that's humble. So he's really read the Bhagavatam from cover to cover so many times, and he's also read Chaitanya Charitamrita 2-3 times, Brihad Bhagavatam Rita, and he's disciple of Shiva Ramaraj, who has innumerous books, and he's read all of your Guru Maharaj's books.
Yeah, most of them.
So I'm in good association today. We've got well-read candidates. We're looking forward to the Bhagavatam Bites. So nice to have you with us, Bhaktivedanta Prabhu.
It's my pleasure. It's nice to be here. Can I just say that even though I've read these books many times, I don't really remember very much. So please don't expect too much from me.
Anyway, see humility just oozing from the man. Okay, so we can say the invocation together and then get stuck in. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. So continuing reading from the 3rd canto, and we're in chapter 13, the appearance of Lord Varahadev, and we're starting with text 35. And in case some of you are wondering what is this behind us, we chose this site. We're actually at the temple, and we just had some amazing Raj Bhog Mahaprasad we shared together. But this is the original recordings of the Govindam Prayers album. So the Goddess of Fortune by the Radha Krishna Temple. So the 1969 album that came out, I think it was more like 70 and 73. But if you look close at these, you'll see George Harrison's name is written on it. This is the original album cover. And so yeah, these are the original. What are they called? Like,
well, these are the master reels.
Thank you, perfect.
From the actual recording equipment, and this is the album, vinyl.
Yeah. So, master reels. That's exactly it. Okay. So from then and now. Okay. Please, if you could read text 35.
Text 35. Okay. Srila Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
O Lord, your form is worshipable by performances of sacrifice, but souls who are simply miscreants are unable to see it. All the Vedic hymns, Gayatri and others are in the touch of your skin. In your bodily hairs is the kush grass, in your eyes is the clarified butter, and in your 4 legs are the 4 kinds of fruitive activities.
Interesting. Yeah, I like this kusha grass. Those of you who know, when you do yajnas and ceremonies, there's always some kusha grass there, and kusha grass is considered the hair of Lord Varahadev. Let's see what Prabhupada says in the purport. Excuse me.
There is a class of miscreants who are known in the words of Bhagavad Gita as Vedavadi, or so-called strict followers of the Vedas. They do not believe in the incarnation of the Lord. What to speak of the Lord's incarnation as the worshipable hog? They describe worship of the different forms of incarnations of the Lord as anthropomorphism. In the estimation of Srimad Bhagavatam, these men are miscreants. And in Bhagavad Gita 7:15, they are called not only miscreants, but also fools and the lowest of mankind. And it is said that their knowledge has been plundered by illusion due to their atheistic temperament. For such condemned persons, the Lord's incarnation as a gigantic hog is invisible. These strict followers of the Vedas who despise the eternal forms of the Lord may know from Srimad Bhagavatam that such incarnations are personified forms of the Vedas. Lord Boar's skin, his eyes and his bodily hair holes are all described here as different parts of the Vedas. He is therefore the personified form of the Vedic hymns, and specifically the Gayatri Mantra.
Okay. Any thoughts? Anything stood out to you?
Well, I mean, Srila Prabhupada mentions this verse in the Bhagavad Gita, 7:15, so I thought we might have a look at that.
Great idea.
And see what that says.
We just happen to have a Bhagavad Gita.
Just see it right here, isn't it? 7:15. So this is chapter 7, Knowledge of the Absolute, text 15. And the verse is, those miscreants...
Let's do the Sanskrit.
Oh, you want to do the Sanskrit?
Yeah, sure.
Namam
No, I was going to thought we'd do it together.
Okay.
Yeah. Namam duskritino mudha prapadyante naradamaha mayaya paritagyana asuram bhavamasritaha.
Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest amongst mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. So, I think this is following on from
four types of
pious men. So this is the four types of impious people who don't surrender to Krishna.
Miscreants.
And there's a long purple. Very long purple.
Which describes the nature of each one of those personalities.
Yeah. So there's the mudhas, those are the grossly foolish people. They basically just think about eating and sex and not much else really. They just like to work and spend their money on these sorts of things. So that's a large proportion of people today. And then there's the Naradama, or the lowest of mankind. So they may have some form of regulative principles or form of religion, but they still don't know who Krishna is. So then the third class is Duskriti. The third class of Duskriti, the foolish person, is Maya Paritagyana.
Yeah, Maya Paritagyana. I love that. Maya Paritagyana.
Those persons whose erudite knowledge has been nullified by the influence of an illusory energy. They're mostly very learned fellows, great philosophers, poets, literati, scientists, etc. But the illusory energy misguides them, and therefore they disobey the Supreme Lord. So there's a lot of people like this, obviously, who they may be materially educated or in a good position materially, but they don't understand about Krishna at all. And then come up with some theories about how life comes from just by chance, or things like that. And then the last class is Asuram Bhavam Ashritaha, or those with demonic principles. And this class is openly atheistic. Some of them argue that the Supreme Lord can never descend upon this material world, but they are unable to give any tangible reasons as to why not. So, if we go back to the Bhagavatam, you can see that Srila Prabhupada, the miscreants don't believe in the incarnation of the Lord. What to speak of the Lord's incarnation as the worshipable hog? And that may be a bit of a challenging one for a lot of people. I mean, okay, maybe you're right to worship God as the supreme powerful, the creator, or formless something which is guiding everything in some way or other. But then when you start putting an actual tangible form to the Lord, a lot of people find that difficult.
Very difficult.
So we worship the form of the Lord in the temple most often as Radha Krishna. So people can see that this is the form of a man and the form of a woman. So that may be quite acceptable.
Acceptable, yeah.
And people can relate to that. But then when you tell people that the Lord also comes in different forms, one of which is an enormous hog.
I love this how Prabhupada says, the worshipable hog.
Worshipable hog. It's, it can be a bit of a challenge. But then, after all, Krishna's supremely powerful. He's totally transcendental. He can do whatever he likes.
That's right.
So he can come in whatever form he wants.
And he does.
So it's up to him.
Yeah, I think it says in the Bhagavatam that the Lord appears in every species of life. So, he comes in every species. Of course, that's a big conversation. We have had that before. Nice. Anything else?
I was wondering if you could maybe say something about the Gayatri Mantra. Because Srila Prabhupada says here that Lord Boar's skin, his eyes and his bodily hair holes are all described here as different parts of the Vedas. He is therefore the personified form of the Veda hymns, and specifically the Gayatri Mantra.
Well, I mean, there's maybe a few things that could be said, but one thing that I'm thinking is how the Gayatri Mantra is the mantra that impregnated Lord Brahma with the knowledge that he required in order to create. So in one sense you could say that all the Vedic knowledge, all the knowledge in the Vedas is contained within that Gayatri Mantra. It's like packed in there. So you sometimes unpack, or it's like when you send a document that's
compressed.
Thank you. He's got all the words today.
All the words.
Yeah, so when you send like a compressed document, so the Gayatri Mantra is the complete knowledge of the Vedas compressed into, it's not exactly when we chant Gayatri Mantra. Of course, many people say Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha, and then I won't say the rest. But it's quite widely, that Gayatri Mantra is quite widely chanted openly in India. But there are 7 different mantras that actually we would chant at the time of Brahmana initiation. You learn to chant these, and they're all considered Gayatri mantras. So you Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. You're there's different ways of understanding. You glorify the kind of the universe in one sense, or the sun, and Lord Chaitanya also is explained. Then you glorify the spiritual master, then you glorify Lord Chaitanya, and then you have the last 2 mantras which are directly glorification of Krishna. And it's those bij mantras, those seed mantras, which are explained to be the verses, I forget which Upanishad it's in, I can't remember now. But there's a Upanishad that really explains nicely how Lord Brahma heard that mantra specifically. And when he heard that mantra, in the 2nd canto where it's described how he sees Lord Brahma, the spiritual world opens up for him, and Krishna is personally there, and Krishna, I think, what does Krishna do? He shakes his hand. Shakes his hand. And it's really like such a beautiful thing. Now, what we get in the Bhagavatam is there, but in this Upanishad, then it explains it in much more depth how Krishna really opened it up, and how at that point Lord Brahma wasn't just kind of bearing witness to Vishnu, but he was having personal darshan. And that's when Lord Brahma wrote the Brahma Samhita prayers. Govindam Adipusham Tamaham Bhajami. And so all of that came from the Gayatri Mantra. So the Gayatri Mantra is pretty powerful. And I don't know anything, but because he asked, I tried to say something, and so there's a lot more to it. Hare Krishna. Should we read on?
Okay.
All right.
What, another verse?
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah. We just usually keep reading, and so I'll do the next one, and we can. Is it 36? Right.
36.
Okay. Text 36. O Lord, your tongue is a plate of sacrifice. Your nostrils is another plate of sacrifice. In your belly is the eating plate of sacrifice, and another plate of sacrifice is the holes of your ears. In your mouth is the Brahma plate of sacrifice. Your throat is the plate of sacrifice known as Soma. And whatever you chew is known as Agni Hotra. So this is quite, it seems a little esoteric. Let's see what Prabhupada says in the purport. The Vedavadis say that there is nothing more than the Vedas and the performance of sacrifice mentioned in the Vedas. So it's interesting, these Vedavadis, they're followers of the Vedas, but they're totally fixed on just the ritual aspect of the Vedas. So like that. They have recently made a rule in their group to formally observe daily sacrifice. They simply ignite a small fire and offer something whimsically, but they do not strictly follow the sacrificial rules and regulations mentioned in the Vedas. Okay, interesting. It is understood that by regulation there are different plates of sacrifice required, such as Shrak, Shruv, Barhis, Chaturhotra, Ida, Chamasa, Prasitra, Graha, and Agnihotra. One cannot achieve the results of sacrifice unless one observes the strict regulations. In this age, there is practically no facility for performing sacrifices in strict discipline. Therefore, in this age of Kali, there is a stricture regarding such sacrifices. It is explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirtan Yagya and nothing more. The incarnation of the Supreme Lord is Yageshwara, and unless one has respect for the incarnation of the Lord, he cannot perfectly perform sacrifice. In other words, taking shelter of the Lord and rendering service unto him is the factual performance of all sacrifices, as explained herein. Different plates of sacrifices different plates of sacrifice correspond to the different parts of the body of the Lord's incarnation. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, it is explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirtan Yagya to please the Lord's incarnation as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of Yagya performance. Wow, there's a lot in there. Any thoughts, Prabhu?
Well, it's just when Srila Prabhupada starts talking about these different plates, plates of sacrifice. I don't know anything about Vedic sacrifices at all, but even just reading that list of different plates, and you can see that it's a very technical process. And so fortunately, as Prabhupada goes on to say, in this age of Kali, we really don't have to worry about all that. Fortunately, we've been given a very simple process. This process of Sankirtan Yagya.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So anyone can do that. You don't need to learn Sanskrit. You don't need to take any special courses or anything like that. Anybody, any background, anywhere, anytime can chant Hare Krishna. It's free and easy and simple, and for this age it's the best process.
Jai.
So,
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, these different plates. I'm interested because although, of course, what you said is totally true. I'm just thinking that, it's like Srila Prabhupada, even though that's the case, still he performed yajnas at initiations and yajnas at weddings, and encourage devotees also to learn this culture. So, but it's not. I think it was in Vrindavan when they were installing Krishna Balaram and the deities there, right? And all the Goswamis from around the area, they called all the yajnik Brahmins, and they were performing all these yajnas and chanting mantras. And Prabhupada told the devotees, you just sit in the back and you just do kirtan. And then he said, whatever they're doing, we're just doing that so that they'll feel like the deity was installed properly and formally. He said, but actually, the deity is being installed simply by the kirtan of the devotees, the pure chanting of the holy names. So, like that, it's simple. As you said, it's really simple for us in this age. But I know Shruk and Shruv, these are the utensils that you use for offering ghee. Now, Barhis, I haven't heard of before, but there's a Shruk, Shruv, then there's another one. There's like usually 3 or 4 spoons type things. They're wooden spoons that you use, and they're all shaped a little differently. So I'm thinking this may be the name of those, some of them anyway. But I know Shruk and Shruv. So anyway, like that. Any final words? Any closing words? In glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam, or the process of Krishna consciousness?
No, I think that's it for me.
Okay. Anyway, we could go on for hours, but we're going to end here so that we keep these things as little bite-sized nuggets so that everyone can watch and tune in and stay connected. So just wanted to say thank you very much again, Bhakti Avatar Prabhu, for joining us today and to discuss the Bhagavatam, and for being a wonderful devotee and a good friend, and for being so diligent and perseverant in your Krishna consciousness and being such an inspiration.
And thank you, Nitai, for being such a kind friend to me for many years, and for tolerating all my peculiarities and problems and moroseness and all the rest of it.
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Tayo Premanandi, Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. Jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Oh yeah, and just a reminder, maybe you can hold up the Bhagavatam. If anyone is interested in getting a set of Srimad Bhagavatams, we have the new sets available straight from the North European BBT, and we would be happy to make sure that you get a copy. Just get in touch. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comment section, and you can also like and subscribe. Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.